Hey everybody, I'm Alan with Bricks and Blocks Gaming, and welcome to the 13th turn for my 5 Parsecs from Home campaign. This solo adventure wargame was written by Ivan Sorensen and published by Modifius Entertainment. Let's get to the bricks and blocks of this battle. After saving Dr. O from Talfo Yaris's men, the crew regroups, rearms, and moves to take the fight to their enemy's base of operations. Dr. O explains the hacker, Central, has modified Galactic Solutions' original data and designs, and the group is growing some kind of creatures in eggs at their base. With Central on a speeder and the crew in Tess, they should be able to reach the location around the same time as the hacker, and hopefully before he can send a distress call. And while Dr. O doesn't know how long it will be before the eggs hatch, he does know that Talfo's heavy trooper, Kazi, is on guard duty, and the crew will need to take him out if they hope to prevent a distress call and destroy the batch of eggs that are growing there. Gibbs Renegades have no patrons here on Daburu. They have one unknown rival that's followed them. They have 9 credits, 3 story points, and are headed to the finale of the quest they're on. Captain Danik Krell is carrying a blast rifle with a quality sight, a hand cannon with a laser sight, and a marksman's rifle. And he's wearing combat armor. He has 4 experience points. Rhett has his auto rifle with the bipod and seeker sight, a machine pistol, a grapple launcher, a screen generator, and is wearing stealth gear. He currently has 3 experience points after increasing his combat to +2. Beldara also increased her combat to +2, but has no experience points remaining. She has her rattle gun with the nanosludge modification, a blast pistol, a blade, a screen generator, and is wearing flex armor. Ugrok has 6 experience points. He's wearing combat armor and is carrying an auto rifle, his shatter axe, and is equipped with a sonic emitter and a concealed blade, both to help when he's up close with his enemy. And he has a neural optimizer implanted to prevent him from being stunned. Baffy has no experience points. He's carrying his auto rifle with the tracker sight, a handgun, a blade, a screen generator, and an insta-wall. He is also wearing stealth gear. Charlie is still equipped with a rattle gun, a glare sword, and combat armor. And Dr. O has re-equipped his hand laser with the shock attachment, a military rifle, and his displacer, which still hasn't been used. He has 4 experience points. Alright, so this turn I will not be traveling, so for upkeep I have to pay 2 credits for my crew of 7. And now to go to crew tasks. The character event at the end of last battle caused Ugrok to get into an argument with the rest of the crew, and he's frustrated that he wasn't able to take down one of Talfo's guys in the last battle, so he's off kind of cooling down, and we'll go to the rest of the crew tasks. Back on turn 7, I found an upgrade kit that was damaged, so Dr. O is going to try to repair this. +3 savvy, +1 for the repair bot. But a natural 1 is an automatic failure, and the item is destroyed. Next, Rhett and Beldara are going to go exploring. For Rhett's roll, 27, and Beldara, 92. So Rhett rolled up a possible bargain, give up a weapon of choice, then roll 1d6. On a 6, get a roll on the loot table, otherwise get 1 credit. I don't know if this has to be a weapon that he has equipped. This seems like if that's the case, this would always be a bad bargain. So I'm going to say I can take something out of my stash, and I'll give up one of my shotguns that I have. And in exchange, I get a 5, which is just simply 1 credit. And Beldara made a useful contact on the next campaign turn. I can add +1 to my choice of recruit, find a patron, or track a rival. Next, I'll do some trading. Danik and Baffy will both do that, and I get a free trade roll every turn from one of my ship upgrades. So Danik, 3, Baffy, 91, and the free trade, 81. Danik has found a low-tech weapon, and that is 72. And apparently he found the guy that Rhett gave the shotgun to, as he just got that back. Baffy found a damaged item from the loot table. Category 1 Subcategory 33 and specific item 65. Well, the 1 is a weapon, the 33 is a slug weapon, and then the 65 is another shotgun. And then for the additional trade item, a lot of blinking lights. Roll once on the gear subsection of the loot table, so this has no chance of being a shotgun. And this is gear from the loot section, so from the sub table, 50, and then the item, 22. Well, that is a protective item, and then another suit of combat armor. And I'm just going to go ahead right now and give that combat armor to Beldara to combine with the screen generator that she has. And she can only have one piece of armor, so she has to get rid of her flex armor, and she'll give that to Dr. O since he's the only character not wearing armor, and that will increase his toughness by +1 if he did not move that turn. And then Charlie is just going to go on a decoy mission to avoid having to fight my rival this turn. And since I don't have to fight that rival, on the last turn I did a quest mission and found out that I would be going to the finale of that quest. So I have the option to do that now, and that is what I'm going to do. And for the finale of a quest, it's always a straight up fight, and I have to add +1 to the number of enemies that I face, and they'll be fearless, so no enemy panic rolls. So I'll roll up my deployment condition and notable sight. Deployment condition is 77, and notable sight is 39. So a 77 for a quest is a bitter struggle, which won't really matter in this battle because the enemy are fearless anyway. And then for the 39 for the notable sight is a loot cache. So if I get this, I gain a roll on the loot table. For the enemies I'm facing on the category, 94, and the specific enemy, 39. A 94 gets me, I think, the first result of a roving threat in my campaign. And a 39 is razor lizards. There's +2 to their numbers. It doesn't matter what their panic level is. They have a 6-inch movement rate. They have +1 combat. They only have a toughness of 3, and they have fangs, which have 0 extra damage. However, those fangs negate any armor saving throws. And I'll point out that's just armor, not screens, so my combat armor won't do me much good, but the screen generators should. It says these are an oversized lizard brimming with spikes and sharp teeth, but I'll have my own way that I'll represent these on the battlefield. And just a reminder, with red zone jobs, there's increased oppositions. I start with a base of 7 and add any modifiers, so that's +2 in this case, plus an additional one because I am finishing up my quest mission, so a total of 10 of these guys. And normally there would be 3 specialists. However, in this case, these enemies don't have any weapons, so there's no specialist, but there will be an additional lieutenant, and I have to roll +1 when determining if there's a unique individual. So I'll roll that up, 2d6 +1, for a total of 8, which is less than 9, so no unique individual. And then I'll roll the special threat condition for doing a red zone job. That's a 5. And on this table, a 5 is armored opponents, so all opponents with 3 toughness are upgraded to 4. So all of these enemies just got harder to take down. Taking a look at my battlefield, this high foliage area that surrounds parts of my board here is all considered out of bounds. It's the jungle area that surrounds the research outpost here. My team has just landed and some of my crew have headed into this facility. Over here we've got the speeders that were left behind by Talfo's mercenary and Central as they rushed back here to retreat from the last battle. Speaking of Central, he is in this tower here. He is actually going to be out of play. He's not actually used in this. Just he's in there because he has just used the controls to open up the gates here. which is going to allow all of these bugs that are hatching here to rush out of this fence across the battlefield. Taking a top-down look at these bugs, you can see that I've only got 7 of them in here. I ruled that there'd be 10 enemies, so what I'm doing is during the enemy phase of the first turn, I'm going to have an 8th bug show up at a somewhat randomly determined location, and instead of the next bug, I'm going to have the mercenary that escaped from the last battle. He's going to show up. I'm going to give him the same stats as the bugs, only I'm going to give him a weapon of some sort, which will be determined during the enemy phase. And then, most importantly, I'm replacing one of the bugs with Kazi, who, even though I didn't roll up a unique individual, I've got some unique stats for him. He's got a speed of just 4, but he's got +2 combat, a toughness of 5, and 1 luck point. He's wearing combat armor, and most importantly, he's carrying a rattle gun. And because he's so big and strong, I'm saying the heaviness of the weapon does not give him the -1 penalty if he moved before he shoots. And if my guys end up in a brawl with him, I'm going to give him the same fangs bonus that the bugs have. So we'll be seeing him during the enemy phase. And one last piece of setup, I rolled for a notable sight. There'd be a loot cache, 2d6 plus 2 inches from the center of the board. So that is a total of 8 inches that direction. Well, I can pretty much guarantee this loot cache won't be collected. The center of the actual battlefield is right about here. 8 inches in this direction is going to put it back there right in the pile of eggs. So I'll just say that there's a special incubator over one of these eggs, and if I happen to work my way in there and get that, then I get a bonus loot. Alright, we'll go ahead and roll to try to seize the initiative. I'm outnumbered, so that gives me a +1. My highest savvy on the board is +2, and I also get +2 for having 2 scanner bots, so +5 to this, needing a 10 or higher, but that's only a 7. And we'll go ahead and roll up reactions for the first round. I can use the 2s and the 4. Well, since I'm going to have some enemies showing up in the middle of this turn, and I don't know where they're going to be, I want my guys to try to take cover somewhere. I have to give my 4 to Danik, and Beldara and Baffy kind of have a little bit of cover behind this speeder, but Rhett and Ugrok are right out in the open, so they're both going to move and dash 8 inches over this direction. And now that they both have cover over here, Danik is just going to kind of hop over here, pull out his marksman rifle, and from right here, he can see down here to this razor bug that's right behind that loot cache. So it does have cover behind that weird green shell that's over that egg. So Danik needs a 6. He's got a +2 combat. Single shot, that hits with a 6. And these guys have an increased toughness of 4. So that one's just stunned. So 1 stunned razor bug, and we'll go over to the enemy phase, starting with moving all the bugs that are behind that fence. And since this is the first time I've fought an enemy with the Beast AI, I'll point out that Beast enemies will always attempt to move as far as possible toward the nearest opponent while remaining in cover. They'll only break cover if they can enter a brawl within 2 moves. Otherwise, they will move to break line of sight and maneuver closer. And when possible, they'll try to stay within 2 inches of a friendly figure. So they have a speed of 6 and can dash 2 more inches. They want to try to stay in cover. I'm just going to kind of move them close to about 8 inches. This one here would have been stunned, so it can only do the 6-inch move, no dash. And it goes there and no longer is stunned. I'll just start sending these guys out. And now moving back to the front of the board, we're going to have the enemy reinforcements show up. So as far as the 2 humans, they'll show up. I'm going to roll a d8. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will be at the bottom of that tower. 8 will be up at the top. They'll just be somewhere around one of those. And then for the razor bug, I want him to be closer, so I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for its location. So we'll start out with the regular trooper. If he ends up in a sniper tower, he'll have a marksman's rifle. Otherwise, he'll have a blast rifle. And he's at spot number 8, so that is a sniper spot. For Kazi, he will be at spot number 3. And then for the bug, he'll be at spot number 4. Alright, so the marksman shows up in this sniper tower. And then around on the other side, the bug is going to show up right here within striking distance of Rhett. And then Kazi, he is going to show up right up here, ready to wreak some havoc on my team. And we'll go ahead and start out with this sniper up in the tower. He saw Ugrok run across here, and he can see him behind that building, so he'll fire on him. The marksman has the stats of the bugs, so he has just a +1 combat, and Ugrok is in cover, so he needs a 6 total, and that misses. And with the missed shot over here on Ugrok, we'll go to Kazi, who's going to fire his rattle gun down here on Danik. He knows he's the captain of Gibbs Renegades, and he wants to take him out. So Kazi has a combat of +2. Danik's in cover, so he needs a total of 6. I'm saying that Kazi moved into this position, so he cannot aim, so he can't reroll 1s on this. First shot, that one hits. Danik has a toughness of 5. He just takes that in the toughness, so he takes 1 stun. Shot number 2, that one also hits. Toughness of 5. That gets past his toughness. He's got his armor save of 5+. He makes his armor save, so he does not get hit by that. And then the last shot, that's only a 4, so he misses with the last shot. So Danik is pushed back 2 inches and given 2 stuns. And then over here on the other side of the board, this Razor Bug is going to charge into combat with Rhett. Now with these Razor Bugs, one of them is a lieutenant that would give it combat skill +1. I wanted to make it where I don't know which one this is, so I don't just target it. So every time one of these gets into combat with me, I'm going to roll a d6, and if it's a 1 or 2, that will be the lieutenant. If I haven't rolled up a lieutenant by only 1 standing, I'll know that is the lieutenant. First, I'll roll to see if this is a lieutenant on a 1 or 2. It's just a regular one, so that means it has a combat skill of +1. I'm saying its fangs are a melee weapon, so that'll give it a +2 and a brawl. Rhett has a +2 combat and has a pistol, so they both have +3 to this roll. Rhett will be red. And Rhett loses with a total of 6 against 9. And that 6 is an automatic additional hit, so Rhett takes 2 hits. His toughness is only 3. The first one, he blocks out with his toughness, takes 1 stun, and the second one, that gets past that. He has a screen generator though, and the enemy's fangs only affect armor, not screens, so he's got a 5 higher on this, and that gets past his armor. He's got luck, so his 1 point of luck is going to send him 3 inches that direction. So Rhett is moved 3 inches this direction. He just kind of leaps over Ugrok. And I believe he still takes a stun from the luck roll that he got, but we'll give him a stun from that and from the other hit he took. So he's at 2 stuns. And now we'll go to my slow phase. And we'll start with Beldara, who's just going to run over here by the speeder where Danik had been, and she's going to fire her rattle gun at Kazi. So her movement penalty and her nano sludge cancel each other out, so she has just her newly upgraded +2 combat. Shooting into cover, needing a 6. First shot, that misses, not aimed. Second shot, that one hits its target. Kazi has a toughness of 5. He takes that into his toughness. And Beldara, unfortunately, can't fire her 3rd shot because that shot knocks Kazi off of this platform. He takes 1 stun. He doesn't take any fall damage. He's not that high off the ground. And then we'll go to Baffy, who's just going to come right up here. And he's going to fire his auto rifle into these bugs. These bugs are close enough that if he takes out one, he can fire at a different one with his next shot. First shot, this is wide open. He's got a +0 combat though, so he needs a 5. First shot hits against a toughness of 4. He stuns one, and then he'll fire at he'll fire at the same one with a total of 3. That misses. So we'll just push this one back an inch and give it a stun. And that ends the first turn with me not really doing too well. I didn't take out any of my enemy. Danik's got a couple stuns, as does Rhett, and Rhett has used his luck, and the enemy are within striking distance. Rolling reactions for the next round. I can use the 2s and the 4 again. I'll assign these the same way I did last round, with Danik getting the 4, and then Rhett and Ugrok getting the 2. And now with Ugrok, with how close he is to that bug, he has a concealed blade, and if he begins a round within 2 inches of an opponent, he may throw the blade as a free action before doing anything else. I roll to hit normally, resolving the hit with damage +0, and this can be used just once per battle. This is wide open, so it needs a 5 or higher to hit. That actually hits against a toughness of 4, and he actually takes the thing down with a concealed blade. So that is a good way to start out the battle. This thing just takes a knife right into it. We'll flip it upside down as it's dead. And then we'll go ahead and do Ugrok's actions. I want him to just fire his auto rifle into this mess of spiders. But Rhett is in the way and he doesn't want to hit his buddy. So instead, he's just going to move up here. He's got 5 inches and you can climb at normal movement rate. So he'll be just right up here, peeking around the corner. And he's going to fire into the crowd. First shot, +1 combat, wide open, needing a 5. That one misses. The second shot, that one hits against a toughness of 4, and that takes one down. So more bullets ricochet around down here, and this bug takes one. And I think I need to start using my consumables. During the last battle, I found some booster pills. When taken, the character removes all stun markers. They can move at double their normal speed. I'm going to have Danik go ahead and use one of these. It's a free action to use your first consumable each round. So I don't really care about the speed boost right now. I just care to get rid of Danik's stuns. So he is just going to get to move over here since he's not stunned. And from right there, we're going to have a sniper battle as he pulls out his marksman's rifle and fires at that soldier. He's got a +2 combat, shooting into cover, so he needs a 6. He hits that against the toughness of 4. It just stuns him. So looking at the back of the board, this soldier gets pushed back 1 inch from that blast and takes a stun. And lastly, for my quick phase, Rhett needs to get out of there before he gets shot. He has 2 stuns, unfortunately, so he's just going to move over here with his 1 action, where he can kind of see around this corner so he can maybe shoot at something next round. And now going to the enemy phase, we'll go to this sniper up here. He actually can't see Danik now from the angle since he's been pushed back, but he can see Ugrok over here, so he's going to fire at him. +1, needing a 6. He misses. And with that miss, we're going to have this swarm of razor bugs continue their march down the middle of the battlefield. So on their 8 total inches with a move and a dash, this one can get pretty close to my team here. The other ones are going to maybe head around this way. This stunned one can only go 6 inches on a single move, so it will stay behind cover. And speaking about staying in cover, Kazi, who's back here with the 1 stun marker, is going to head around the back of this building. He can't shoot this round, so instead, he's just going to move 4 inches around this corner, getting rid of his stun, and trying to get into position to flank my team. And then moving to my slow phase, I'm going to have Beldara just come over here. She can move 1 inch to the corner of this. You can climb at normal movement rate in this game, so 2 inches up and then about 2 inches over. Putting her right there. And from right there, she can shoot 24 inches at that sniper up there. She moved so her nano sludge is canceled out by the heaviness of her weapon, but she's got a +2 combat, needing a total of 6 shooting into cover. First shot misses with a 5. Second shot, that one hits against the toughness of 4. That one takes him down. Since that guy already had 1 stun, I was hoping that I might just take him out with the 3 stuns and you're out rule, but instead he gets taken out completely. And lastly, we'll move over here to Baffy. He wants to shoot at these bugs, but from where he's at, they're actually too low profile for him to see over the speeder, so he's going to step back to here, and from there he has a clear shot at this one and at that one, and they are within 3 inches of each other, so if he's able to take down the first one with his first shot, he can shoot the second one with his second shot. This shot is wide open. He's got +0 combat, so he needs a 5. First shot, he misses, so he'll fire again at that first one. That one hits against the toughness of 4. He stuns it. So this one gets pushed back 1 inch. And at the end of round 2, I'll roll up a battle event, 46. And this is really great. A cunning plan. In the next round, you do not roll for initiative. Each of your crew acts in the quick or slow actions phase as I prefer. Well, I really assumed I was going to get overrun by these razor bugs this round, but this cunning plan has really turned things in my favor. I'm going to have all my guys act in the quick phase because if nothing else, they can go into snapfire mode. I'm going to start with Beldara. She's going to shoot down here at this stunned bug, and I'll point out that this one here is within 3 inches, as is this one. So if she takes this one down, she can fire at that one, and takes that one down, she can fire at this one because it's also 3 inches from the original target. She didn't move, so her nano sludge kicks in. She has a +3 to hit now. She didn't move, so she's aiming, and these are wide open, so she only needs a 5 to hit. So first shot, that's a total of 5, so that one hits. Against a toughness of 4, she takes down the stunned one. Now she'll go to the one that's to the right. With her +3, that one of course hits. Against the toughness, that one's just stunned. She'll fire at that one again. That hits. And the next toughness roll, that one goes down too. So with no concerns of gunfire coming from anywhere, Beldara just opens fire and just obliterates a couple of these bugs. And once again, Baffy has found himself unable to see any of the enemies, so he's just going to hop up on top of this speeder, and from right there, he's going to fire his auto rifle at this bug and maybe at the one behind it. Wide open, he needs a 5 with a +0. First shot hits, toughness of 4. That one is stunned. We'll shoot at it again, and second shot misses. So this one is moved back 1 inch and stunned. And then Danik is just going to move over here, easily within 5 inches, and he's going to fire his blast rifle at this one that's not stunned. He needs a 5 to hit with a +2 combat. He misses, and that's not aimed. And since Kazi over here is not a threat this round because his speed of 4 can't get him close enough to shoot any of my guys, I'm going to have Rhett just fire down here, starting at this stunned one. Now, I don't know if there's an official ruling on this, but I usually play that if a character is stunned, they can't aim. So I'm also not going to let Rhett use his bipod, which gives him a +1 to hit while aiming. And he also can't use his seeker sight, which gives him a +1 to hit if he didn't move. Because I'm not sure if this is supposed to mean that you have to sacrifice or move to do that. So he'll just have a straight up +2 combat, needing a 5 to hit. He hits, toughness of 4. Puts another stun on that one. He'll fire at it again. Hit. Third stun, it's out. So Rhett's auto fire blasting comes out here. Maybe it blows off a couple of the thing's legs and renders it immobile. And now Ugrok is going to fire his auto rifle, starting on this one. Ugrok only has a +1 combat, needing a 5 total. Misses with the first shot. Second shot, that one also misses. Now that all of my guys have acted for their cunning plan, we'll go to the enemy phase. There's only 3 of these spiders left. They cannot dash into a brawl, So this one's just going to come at Rhett most of its distance. And then these other two, I'm going to have them come over here by the speeder, getting ready to attack Baffy. And then moving around the back side of this building to Kazi. All he can do is move 6 inches on his dash over to here to try to get into a position to flank Rhett or Ugrok or somebody else. And after 3 rounds, I'm feeling like I'm pretty well in the driver's seat of this red zone battle. My reaction dice, all I can use is 2, 3, and a 4. So I'll give my 2 to Rhett, my 3 to Baffy, and my 4 to Danik. And I'll start out with having Danik. He is within 6 inches of this bug, so he's going to pull out his hand cannon and fire at it. So that's a pistol, giving him +1 to hit at this range, and it has a laser sight, giving him another +1, so a total of +4, and he gets to reroll 1s. He needs a 5, so that's going to hit. Against a toughness of 4, this weapon has a +2 damage rating, so he takes down that bug. So this thing gets splattered, and then Rhett is going to move around this way, right over to here, trying to get more than 6 inches away from these so they can't charge at him. And he's going to fire his auto rifle starting at this one. Wide open with +2 combat. That's a total of 5, so that hits. Toughness of 4. He takes down the first one. He's going to shoot at the second one. +2 to hit. That hits. Toughness of 4. That one gets stunned. So Rhett runs out here, fires his auto rifle, takes down one bug, stuns the other. And then Baffy is just going to go into snapfire mode because he knows Kazi's back here somewhere. And as soon as Kazi pokes his head around to take a shot at Danik, Baffy's going to fire his auto rifle. This is a difficult shot with +0 combat shooting into cover. He needs a 6 first shot, misses second shot, misses again. So Baffy, anticipating Kazi's move, turns to fire and misses, and now Kazi unloads at Danik. Alright, +2 combat shooting into cover, needing a 6. First shot misses, second shot also misses, and the third shot, he hits with that one. Danik has a toughness of 5. That gets past his toughness, armor of 5 or 6. He gets hit. He still has his point of luck. He is going to end up moving 5 inches that direction. And destructible terrain sounds cool, so Kazi fired his rattle gun over here, just blew up this speeder bike, and then Danik kind of jumped out of the way 5 inches off over to here. The captain does get a stun, and then the only other enemy left is this razor bug. And characters that have stuns are not allowed to enter brawls, so it can't really do anything. So it's just going to stand there and let its stun wear off. And then Beldara is going to move right over here where she has a clear shot and fire all 3 rounds at that thing. Shooting at a +2, needing a 5. First shot, that misses. Second shot, that one hits against the toughness of 4. 1 stun, and the third shot, that's a 5, so that hits. Toughness of 4, and second stun. So it's shoved 2 inches over this way, and it's got 2 stuns. And lastly, we'll go to Ugrok, who can move 3.5 inches over to the edge of this, and then 1.5 inches down to attack Kazi with his Shatter Axe. Since Ugrok is faster than Kazi, he gets his normal +2 melee bonus, plus his +1 combat for a total of +3. For Kazi, his fangs are a melee weapon, and combined with his combat, that gives him a total of +4. Ugrok gets to choose the best of his 2 dice, and we have a total of 7 against 6, so Ugrok ends up winning that. His Shatter Axe has a +3 damage, against a toughness of 5. So that is a total of 7, which is enough to get past his toughness. Kazi's combat armor does give him an armor save of 5+, but that gets past his armor. Kazi does have a point of luck, so he's going to end up moving 4 inches that direction. Based on the direction the board was facing at the start of the game, that's just going to put him right over here against this wall. And we'll give him his 1 stun marker. And we'll head to the next round. And before we do that, we'll roll up a battle event for the end of round 4, 52. And this event probably won't matter. Clock is running out at the end of the next round, and each round thereafter, roll a d6, and on a 6, the game ends immediately. And you're unable to complete any objectives. You will not count as holding the field unless you clear the table of enemies before this happens. The only enemies left on the board are a bug in the middle of the table with 2 stuns, and then Kazi, who's got a single stun and who's already used up his luck. And so apparently time is running out, meaning Central is doing something over here in this computer tower, and Kazi's just simply trying to buy him some time. So I'll go ahead and make my reaction rolls, and I can use a 2 and 1 of the 4s. So taking a look at the front of my board here, I'll give my 1 to Ugrok, and my 4 can only go to Danik, who's over here. And he has a clear line of sight to Kazi down here. He can shoot 18 inches and then get rid of his stun. This is his blast rifle. He's got +2 combat, needing a total of 5 with 1 shot. He hits that against Kazi's toughness of 5. With a +1 damage that doesn't get past his toughness, he just takes another stun. So Kazi's up to 2 stuns, and then Ugrok's just going to fire at him wide open with his auto rifle. He's got a +1 combat, needing a 5. First shot hits against the toughness of 5. That doesn't get past his toughness, but that is a 3rd stun. So Kazi over here just gets riddled with bullets, and he goes down. So that leaves the enemy with just 1 bug remaining. It's stunned, so it can't move into a brawl, and it also can't really move into cover, so it'll just advance a little bit towards Baffy and go down to 1 stun remaining. And then Baffy's going to pull out his machine pistol and fire at the thing. That's wide open. From this distance, a pistol gets +1 to hit, so he needs a 5 with the +1. First shot hits against toughness of 4. It takes a 2nd stun, and the next shot, that's a hit, and a 6. It doesn't make its toughness roll. So Baffy just kind of blows off a couple of the thing's legs before finally taking the thing out. And now my team has successfully held the battlefield. And I will point out that with red zone jobs, there's a time constraint. That at the end of round 6, you're supposed to roll a d6 to see if maybe some more reinforcements show up, or to see if the battle might end early. But now at the end of my 2nd red zone job, I haven't made it to round 6 to have to roll this. So I guess that's a benefit to finishing these jobs early. Now I could keep the battle going to try to secure this loot cache that's down here, but that just doesn't seem like a good idea to drag out the mission. I have completed my actual objective, which means I've completed my quest. And although the author has ruled that notable sites can be picked up for free if you hold the battlefield, I think that kind of takes away from some of the excitement of trying to get to those. So instead I'm going to do kind of a 50-50 chance on whether I can pick that up or not. So on a 4, 5, or 6, I get to collect that loot cache. And with a 1, it's staying behind. For my post-battle activities, since these enemies were a roving threat, I do not have to check to see if these are a rival. This was not a patron mission. This was a quest mission, and since I've completed it, instead of my usual 1d6 credits, I get to roll twice and pick the better and add +1. However, since this is a red zone job, I get to roll 3 dice, pick the best, and add +1. And while I'm on this page, I'll point out that for holding the field, all of my characters gain +1 experience points, and I get to make an additional roll on the loot table. So for credits, I can take the 6 and add +1, so 7 credits. And I'll go ahead and roll up my battlefield find. 13. Well, this is a result that I often want, to get a weapon off one of the enemies, but this time most of them don't have weapons, so I guess on a 1 it'll be Kazi's rattle gun, and on 2 it'll be that marksman's rifle. And on a 3 through 10 it's nothing. Well, I can't pull the fangs off those razor bugs and use them, so I get nothing. I'll go ahead and roll up both of my loots. For the first one, 17, and then its subcategory, 4, and its actual item, 45. For my other one, 31, subcategory, 13, and the actual item, 42. So for that first one, a 17 is a weapon, 4 is a slug weapon, and then a 45 is just a colony rifle, which will probably be getting sold. And then for the second result, I actually rolled up 2 damaged weapons, so I'll roll a second one up here in a minute, but the first one actually ended up with the same result as my other one, with a 13 giving me a slug weapon, and a 42 giving me another colony rifle. My damaged weapon will be subcategory 58 and item 67. And that damaged weapon, a 58, gives me a special weapon. And this is actually the first time I've been able to roll on this table all campaign. And a 67 gets me a shell gun, which is essentially like a grenade launcher. And since no one on my team became a casualty, I get to go to awarding experience points. Everybody gains 3 for surviving, everyone gains +1 for completing a quest, and everyone gains +1 for completing a red zone job. And then Ugrok was the first character to inflict a casualty. That was actually with his concealed blade that he got to throw as a bonus action. So he gets 6 total experience points. As far as how to use my points, Danik is going to use 7 of his to increase his combat skill to +3. Then Ugrok is going to use 10 of his, since he has 12, to give himself a point of luck. He's been pretty lucky so far, surviving lots of survival rolls over this campaign. And then lastly, Rhett is going to spend 7 to increase his reactions to 3. Next, I'll head to the market. Since I found a damaged and an undamaged colony rifle, I'll sell the undamaged colony rifle, and at the start of the turn I found both a damaged and undamaged shotgun, so I'll sell the regular shotgun as well. And then I'm going to make 2 purchases, one on the gear table and one on the gadget table. The gear is 57 and the gadget 1. The 57 for my gear roll gets me another grapple launcher. I haven't really used the one that I already have, because you can climb pretty easily in this game, and I don't usually have really tall terrain, so I'm not sure if that'll get much use. But then on the gadget table, my 1 gets me an AI companion. Well, I wasn't expecting this to be an implant, but I guess it is. When making savvy rolls, the character gets to roll twice and pick the better score. Next, I'll roll up my campaign event. It's 97. So I've mentioned before, I'm not really doing much with the Unity government that's supposed to be kind of the ruling group in 5 Parsecs. But either way, I cannot leave this planet during the next 2 campaign turns. For my character event, we'll go Danik, Baffy, Dr. O, Rhett, Beldara, and then Ugrok. That goes to Baffy, and his event is 79. Alright, you know someone who knows someone. Add a patron. So I guess maybe this is why I'm not leaving the planet, because someone's got some leads on Talfo and his crew. During the chaos of the battle, Central was able to escape the facility, and although Gibbs renegades were able to destroy the eggs that Talfo's team was growing, since Kazi was taken out by the 3 stuns and you're out rule, he was able to escape as well. With Dr. O saved and the crew all back together, they now start their hunt to take out Talfo and his men. You can click here to watch Battle 14 once it's available, and feel free to click like or leave me a comment below. I'm Alan with Bricks and Blocks Gaming. Thanks for watching, and play well.